Hey, how's it going? It's me, Ricky Stewart. We're doing live Q&A on train maximally or hold back. And spoiler alert, the answer is always it depends. No matter what, but if it's anything to do with exercise and you ask me a question as specific as that, it depends. It depends on everything. Every single possible variation on who you are, what you've done before, what injuries you've got, all of that stuff means it depends. It depends. That's it. But let's get into the specifics of when you should train maximally then, and when you should hold back a little bit, and how often, and for what reasons you would train maximally. Because I believe that if you're in your first 2 years of really training, and I don't mean just having a little dabble in a little bit of burning some calories for a little bit of weight loss. I mean like training like you're trying to get better. You've gone past that chasing body composition goals and you actually enjoy doing something in the gym or for a sport or whatever your action is. You've got to wonder what it is that you're doing. Why are you doing it? Hi Pam. So let's first break down what training maximally actually means. So that means either you're training really heavy, so you're doing 1 rep maxes, like heavy, up to 3 reps even to failure. Doing bodybuilding reps, or like hypertrophy reps, so like 10 reps, 12 reps until you can't move the weight anymore and neuromuscularly you burn out and you can't even like push anymore. You like do drop sets or something down to like the 2.5 kilogram dumbbells and I'm shaking. That's training maximally. Training maximally is running a marathon. If a marathon's really hard for you to run, especially, or like doing ultra marathons, training maximally could even really kind of tenuously be training every single day kind of hard. That's kind of maximal because you start performing up at this high level every single day. That's kind of training maximally. And holding back, I think it generally is a bit demonized that you go in and you have a little play around. If you know me and you've seen me in the gym, I enjoy a play around. Not very often do you see me working like actually really hard. And I do train really hard, but maybe no more than once a week. Like, do I ever hit that, like, I've got nothing left in the tank. Done. I'm neuromuscularly fried. Very rarely do I ever hit that kind of like horrible place. 'Cause it's hard work. So, first of all, we have to work out what is you're trying to achieve. What do you want? What are you trying to do? What are you training for? If it is just for a little bit of weight loss, I think a little and often works way better. I want you to be able to train and then train again and then train again and then train again and then train again. If you train maximally, if you spend everything that you've got, like you pound yourself into the ground, no matter what that is, even if it's just burpees for days, if you are really sore the next day or absolutely exhausted where you sit down and you're like, and your body melts because it doesn't have the energy, you don't have the control to be able to lift your legs, you find it hard to sit down, hard to stand up, I'm not sure if you've done the best work that you possibly could have done. I think that if you get to that that space every now and again, it's okay, but you kind of got to look at why. Why are you doing that, and what extra do you think you got from that workout where there was nothing left in the tank? If you think about it like this, so you turn up to the gym and you could potentially make this many gains. They fit in the palm of your hand and it's quite easy to hold. That's your potential, your maximum potential. You can't fit any more in your hand. It's as much as you can hold in one hand is your gains, whatever it is that you're doing, doesn't matter what it is. That's how much. How long do you think before you get that? I don't think it's when you are like neuromuscularly fried. I don't think it is. I think you do a bit and you persuade your body that you're good for a little bit more than what you turned up with. That is it. It's a bit of persuasion that you've achieved a little bit more. Look at my like spooky Halloween hand in the background with the shadow, because I had to put loads of lights in it because it was a bit of a dark front room. It's quite spooky. Look, it is October after all. So you get this far, you've got this many gains, and it's not absolute failure. It isn't a marathon. You don't, if you ran a bit, I don't think that you gain anything by running a marathon. That's an expression of your fitness. It's not you training to get more fit. I don't think, unless you're a special kind of person that's running ultra marathons for days. I don't think that marathon is training. I think that's an expression of what you can do. So I'm still holding all of my gains here. Do you think that once I start training to failure, I'm just dropping the gains that I could have, that I'm not adding them, I don't get to keep them, but the next day it has a cost. I want you to be able to turn up again the next day so that you can train again. Now, it all changes if you're actually competing in a sport. So if you are running a 5k competitively or a 10k competitively, that is maximal. It should be, because you're competing, you want to win, and you should want to do the very best that you can. You've trained to turn up on the day to be able to do the thing, and along your training schedule you should probably have hit close to what you're going to do on the day. And you've got to allow a little bit for a bit of adrenaline, a bit of that extra little bit that you get, that extra thing that you find within yourself to compete on the day. You could allow for that. But if it's powerlifting, it's whatever it is, how often should you be hitting that like all out, like maximal, hitting the ceiling, can't spend any more? I don't think it's probably like once a week you hit that 1 rep max. Otherwise, you're drilling your form and you're persuading your body that you can do it a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and getting efficient. That is it. It's just persuasion of what you can do, and not a like every time you turn up, you give everything to the gym. Because I don't think if you truly are training maximally, you can't turn up the next day and give maximally again. It just doesn't work like that. You haven't got like endless supplies of energy. It can't be that. It's got to be that you turn up and you work out what you can do. Now, if we start getting smart about this, I think you've got to look at whatever your weak point is, you need to train that more. And if it's your weakest point, if it's your weakest link in your training, it's probably not going to get, that's not going to get trained maximally. Because like I said, in your first 2 years of training, I don't think you should really train maximally. And we get tricked into thinking that that's it. I've known too many and seen too many trainers that revel in giving clients and giving the people that come to their classes the worst DOMs ever. Like, you can't move the next day. And I don't think that that's the path that we should be taking. I'm forever holding people back a little bit and trying to drill their weakest point. So I can't sit by and watch someone who can't squat very well do really messy squats where their hip is internally rotating every time they squat. I've got to pull you back and not let you hit maximal numbers and not let you hit maximal reps, so that you can feel how to fix it. And hopefully the next day you come and you're like, I feel this in my hip here, that I've worked really hard on this glute medius bit that can't quite do external rotation, but I feel good, I feel a bit ready, I feel ready to go and I want to learn more. That is a sweet spot where you keep turning up and you keep wanting more. Now, there's some classes that are like actual HIIT, high intensity interval training. High intensity can be seen as maximal. And I think there's actually a little bit of space for that within a training schedule, maybe once, maybe twice a week possibly. But it's got to be short, it's got to be sharp, and it's got to be done and over with kind of within about 8 to 12 minutes of maximal, of real proper HIIT. That gets bandied around a lot, that word HIIT, high intensity interval training. You see it a lot, like HIIT everything. They put it in everywhere, every gym, because it's the buzzword. It's the thing that people think that they need to lose weight. And it is a good tool, it can really help, but I don't think that many people are doing it right, because we get a lot of people in gyms that are just general population that have just had a baby not that long ago. If you had a baby not that long ago, I don't think you should be doing something that like asks you to hit maximal numbers. Like, even if that thing is hit a burpee fast, belly to the floor, get your feet off the floor, belly to the floor, feet off the floor, belly to the floor, feet off the floor, belly to the floor, feet off the floor, go faster, faster, faster. You get 10 seconds rest, and then you go again, and again, and again, and again, and again. It's kind of fun to go into that dark place where you push hard. I've got to ask why, and what are you going to achieve by that? Are you going to snap your wrists up? Are your wrists going to be sore from doing all those burpees where you like hands hitting the floor like this? If that's the weak link, why are you training maximally? If you go to, I love CrossFit, I've competed in CrossFit and I absolutely love it, and I love the movements, I love training them, I love teaching that kind of thing, I love it. But if you're asking someone to hit their either max weight clean, catching the bar like this, and especially snatch where you surprise yourself under the bar, and you catch that bar overhead, how ready are you for that maximal stuff? Because Olympic lifters are a different breed. And the Olympic lifters who are Olympic lifters are good for it because they train for it, and they train those weak links and all the back stuff, all of the little bits. Yes, you've done mint, Martin. I'm really chuffed with everything you've been doing recently. It's really been really fun. I like holding back and seeing what tweaks we can make. That is kind of my deal. It's my money maker as a PT, as a sports massage therapist, as a yoga teacher, as a mobility trainer. It's my little sweet spot is what are you doing and how can we improve what you're doing, not the numbers that you can hit, because I don't want to train the movements. Remember that I've competed as a powerlifter. I love it. I'm all in for that, and for CrossFit as well. I've done CrossFit competitions, multiple. I'm all in for that maximal, like, come on, let's see what that 1 rep max squat is, let's see what that deadlift is, let's see what that bench is, how fast can you run, and then do muscle ups, and then do toes to bar. That kind of thing, I love it. I'm all in for it when it's the competition day. That's the maximal point. Otherwise, we strip out all of the components and we see where that is. Ah, Kirsty, I'm sure you're not getting it wrong. I'm sure you're not getting it wrong. Now, on the flip side of that coin, there's a flip side, there always is, because remember the answer is always it depends. There's some people who turn up to the gym and don't train hard enough. They're not going anywhere near max. That's an issue too. But if you're just coming in and flapping around a little bit and just kind of flopping about on the floor, doing Instagram model like these, you're just doing that for a bit, I don't think that's enough. I don't think that does enough, and it's kind of crosses over a little bit into what I train in, like hip cars and things. It's a tiny little crossover, but if you're just doing like 20 reps of those donkey kickbacks, it makes me like, why? You spend a lot of time doing them, but you're just training your lower back to be able to scrunch up, because you're just doing these like Instagram model things like that. I'm not into it really as an exercise. I think we can do better, and I don't think it's maximal, and I think you're holding back, and I don't think it's a bad exercise. That's absolutely the wrong way to put it. I don't know how to articulate my words for this, but I think it's got to be slowed down. And if you're going to train your glute in that manner, in that fashion, you need to understand how to segment your spine. So you need to do some like hard work, holding muscles in your belly tight and making your glute engage as you lift that heel. And so if you're just doing like 20 reps on each leg of picking that heel up, your bum might join in a bit, and it will, because that's the direction that those muscles pull that leg in. But I think you've got to do a little bit better with focusing on what it is that you're trying to do. Now, here's my advice for this, and I really honestly think this is the reason why I'm in decent shape and why I'm injury free and why I'm kind of good at stuff. Because I train 24 hours a day. It's like 24 hours. I'm always on. always doing something. I play a bit of PlayStation every now and again, and I watch films, and I watch a bit of Netflix, and I do sit down, but you can bet that I'm fidgeting a lot, annoyingly so probably, but I'm checking in to see what my ankle can do. I'm doing ankle cars, like right now, as we're talking, my toes push into the sofa. I move my toes around, I might even move my wrist, I might hold my wrist for a little bit like this, and see if I can keep this wrist, see if I can lock my elbow, and I'm not even really thinking about, I'm not really doing it like I am when I'm training it, but I'm always on, and I'm really lucky that I do. This is a job where I talk about exercise all day. I'm available for like all the hours that the gym's open. I'm available. I'll turn up. If you book a session with me at any time slot, and it's the only one we can make, I'll be there. And then when I'm there, I join in and I do little bits. I don't join in fully. I'm not like ignore you because I'm doing press ups. I'm moving constantly. I'm trying to get people who do a desk job to kind of get in that idea that you can spread your training out through your 24 hours. It's a big ask, I know, because you've got work to do, you've got spreadsheets to do, you've got Excel stuff to like beep, 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 boop, boop, boop. You've got to press the buttons, you've got to watch the conveyor belt, you've got to phone the people, but even while you're on the phone you can be like, kind of hold my wrist like this, does that feel alright? Does it feel like I'm training this to be able to pull this here? Can I do this? You get into this habit of like fidgeting and doing like mobility work all day. I think that really kind of works, and maybe even taking breaks to do hip cars if you can. I mean, a lot of people right now are working at home. How long can you sit at a desk in your house? Because if you're doing it for 8 hours, you're doing well. Really tough. It's hard work. Can you like drive and do tibial rotation, especially if you're in an automatic car? Can you do this, the knee, and make your tibia rotate and make sure this knee's a knee so that it can do the stuff when you do have to put your foot down and drive and things? I would try and be exploring that stuff. Like when you're driving, can you squeeze your shoulder blades together and make your neck really long? Can you hold your shoulder blades down? Can you bring them forwards? Can you like hold on to steering wheel like this? Can you hold on to it like this? All of these little things make you kind of good at articulating your joints, and it's all very not that specific at all. And I don't think that that's going to change you in a way that you don't need to go to the gym anymore, because we need this maximal stuff where you kind of do perform at a higher level, but you can't keep turning up and killing yourself off. Just doesn't work like that. And if it's new, we've just had a long lockdown. How many people have I spoke to in the gym that have said, I'm back, but I came for my first session then didn't come again for a week because I did 7 exercises for my triceps. My triceps are too sore. I couldn't bend my arm anymore because these muscles just went so tight. That was an actual conversation I had with a really nice guy who's been training a long time. He should have known better. Not an answer, you should know better. It's funny, almost. But it's not funny because that's your body that you're messing with. That you could have just held back a little bit and maybe spread your training out to be a few more muscle groups and a little bit different to be able to make it work so that it works for you. It's tough. So I do, me and Rob at Fashionable Fitness in Scarborough, we do a class called Level Up and we love it. We used to teach it together, but now we've got our own classes now. It was kind of cool having both of us there because I like pulling people back, and Rob likes to make people. He's a fantastic personal trainer. He likes getting people to perform up here. And he's always like, "What can we lift? How much can you do? What can you do?" And then I'd always be like, "You're not quite. You are good for that." Some people in the room were like absolutely good for hitting those big numbers, and we'd be like, "Yes," because we know that you're good and you're ready to do more. And then I'd always be like, "You're not doing cleans. You're not going to catch that bar boom, and be able to fire those elbows through and own this stuff. It's training maximally. You're not ready. You don't have a wrist. I can see that you don't have a wrist. When you move your wrist and you hold it, I can just see you don't have that yet. We can train to get it, And eventually I'd like to be able to get you there. Until you have a wrist, you can't do the thing maximally. And I've been saying quite a lot, I feel like I've been a bit of a broken record this week, especially in yoga and Pilates, that sometimes holding back is harder than just being able to push to the end. It's like telling someone to run over and touch that wall, but you don't actually touch it. I want you to touch it like this far away, but kind of depends when you get there. Just make a decision on what you think you should do, and maybe go closer. Nah, maybe don't touch it. And it's a bit like that. It's all very ambiguous. Like holding back is kind of harder than just saying like push to the end until you've got nothing left, because it's a clear end point, and it's like, cool, that's clear. Put your hands together, that's clear. How close do you put your hands without touching them? And you're like, how long is a piece of string? Because it always is, it depends. So when I get people to do shoulder cars, if you've been to any of my classes, that sofa's going to be in the way. I find all these end ranges in your shoulder. If you have a shoulder that doesn't work very well, and it doesn't have the space to be able to push into the corners, maybe you might need to stop here and then map your way around your safe movement and see what you can do. Because remember, I want your training to be a persuasion that you can do a little bit more than what you turned up with. That is it. It's just a bit of persuasion. And sometimes it takes a little bit of learning, and it takes time to get into that thing where you're like, yeah, I can tell that I'm persuading my body I want a little bit more. And it just depends. The answer's always it depends. It depends who I'm talking to as to what I tell people they should do. So if I get an induction in, so it's just someone who I don't know yet, I've met them for the first time, and I've got to show them around the gym, show them how to use some pieces of kit, put them together a nice simple program that I think that they'll be able to follow. So it's not going to be things like shoulder cars and things like that, unless I really think they need it. And I show them how to use a few machines, and I tell them how to progress their training. This is what I use. This is what I tell them to do. I want to hit 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps on the machine that I think they need, that will help them to get towards the goals that they need. And generally, because they're just induction in the gym, they've met them before, a lot of the time it's a little bit of toning up and a little bit of weight loss. So I talk to them about their nutrition, and I see what they can do. And nutrition, they shouldn't do maximally, so they shouldn't go starving. They shouldn't starve themselves, because that doesn't work, does it? You hate it, you're so hungry, you do it for 3 days, you flip a table over and kick off and get a takeaway. You can't do that maximally. You've got to hold back a little bit and make it so it's achievable. Get them to fill in MyFitnessPal. We did this talk a little while ago, that's my first go-to, is fill in MyFitnessPal, see what you're actually doing, and track it really honestly, and then see if you can shave a few calories off, see if it's your workout, whether it's your portion size, whether it's your snacks, whether it's you eating things that are really bad value for calories. So you're having microwave pizzas that have got no nutritional value, but they're a fair amount of calories, and you're not very full after eating them. That's not good value for calories. You just need to do it like somewhere in the middle. Like eat some nutritious food, make it work for you, make it so that you enjoy it and you want to do it again the next day. It's the same as your exercise. You come in, 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, and then we're going to make it full body. And I want you to be able to wake up the next day and be like, oh yeah, I've worked out, I've done some stuff, I feel like I've exercised, but let's build on that. Let's go back in and do it again. Let's see if I can get a little bit more out of my body. Let's see if I can persuade myself that I can achieve a little bit more. And you go back in, you do it again, and you add a little bit more in. So when I say 3 to 4 sets of 10 to 12 reps, you start with 3 sets. You maybe start with 10 reps, and you finish that 3rd set where you've got to persuade yourself that you can do that 10th, that 9th, that 10th rep. So that when you say it's a chest press, you're on the machine that does chest press, you tune into it, you try and feel the tissue push, and on that 10th rep it comes up and you're like, oh, come on, finish it. Oh, finished it. And you're good. You maybe had a rep or 2 left in the tank, but you feel good. You finish feeling good. And you do that for at least 3 to 4 weeks, at least, and then maybe you start saying like, right, I'm good for a 4th set now. And you add another set in, and you finish that 10th rep on the 4th set, I persuaded myself that I did it, and I put those weights down nice and gentle. I didn't have to let them go because I'm done. Good to turn up again. And then you keep turning up again, and then you add a little bit more in. Maybe you get to 10 reps and you're like, that's all right, I'll do another one. Oh, that is it, that burnt me out. But I've still got something left. There's still a little bit left. You're good to go again. Then you do that for about 6 months to a year, coming up to 2 years really. Then you can start being like, I'm going to do one set where I'm going to go to failure. I'm just going to see what I can achieve. I'm going to start doing a bit of a strength training workout where I do 5 sets of 5 reps. And that 5th rep is going to be hard work. I'm going to have to push to be able to get that heavier weight to move. That is it. But you can't be training like getting up to 1 rep maxes and hitting the ceiling with what you could possibly achieve all the time. You've got to ask yourself whether you should be training 1 rep maxes. Because unless you've been training a long time, you really know your form, you know where your limits are. Why are you doing a 1 rep max? You could do a 5 rep, about 10 reps. Got to see. So let's break it down. Let's see what actually you can achieve by training in this way. So 10 to 12 reps tends to be hypertrophy. So you're trying to add tissue, you're trying to make those muscles grow. Anything more than that, 15, 20 reps, then you're going to be training endurance. Do you want that muscle to be able to work for a longer time? So maybe you're going to go walk up Ben Nevis. You're going mountain climbing. You're going to walk up Ben Nevis. You can get on that stair climber. You can train your endurance at walking up a hill on steps for a long time. You could keep training yourself till you can get 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and that would be good. But to train to walk up Ben Nevis, do you think you should ramp up the stair climber to speed 20 and just like smash yourself until your calves are burning and you can't walk anymore until you fall off the back of it? That's maximal. Sure, that's it. You get on it and make it work for the specific sport that you're doing. You just need to be able to walk for a really long time. So you can get on the treadmill, stick it on a hill, do power walking. That is it. Train for the sport that you're doing. If you're doing powerlifting, then yeah, you need to work up to those 1 rep maxes. But you can't constantly beat your 1 rep max. You've got to be working at 80%, 70%, 60% of your 1 rep max. Drilling it and drilling it and drilling it, and then every now and again you peak. You work up to that peak, you work up to it. Every now and again you do a test. You can't test yourself every time. So over lockdown, everyone was doing a lot of running. I did a lot of running. Ran 5Ks mostly. Don't like running much further than that, and it's not in my thing. I like running fast. As fast as I can anyway. Not that I'm all that fast. So easy to get caught up in. Right, I hit sub 25. I can get sub 24. I'm going to knock a whole minute off of my 5K time this time. And then the next day, didn't hit sub 24, did hit 24 and a half minutes up, but I'm better get going to hit 24:15 now. And you're constantly trying to beat your time every single time you go out for a run. How fast are you going to hit the ceiling for what you can perform within a week? Say if you run 4 times in a week and you try and beat your score 4 times, you're not gonna. You might have to run for shorter and run a little bit faster. If that's your goal, to get a bit faster, you're gonna have to run for less period of time and run a bit faster. Or maybe you need to work on your endurance, and maybe you need to go for like 7, 8K and maybe keep your pace, keep your steady pace. Keep those 5 minute per K, or like 8-minute miles, something like that. You'd have to maintain that for a little bit longer. It's not maximal. It's not you hitting the ceiling, like finishing that, like sprinting past the finish line with every ounce of what you've got left in you. Because how often can you do that? I want you to be able to turn up again the next day. It's way more fun that way, I promise you. But getting into that feeling of training and then coming in again the next day. So I've taught Level Up 2 days in a row, and I've joined in a little bit. Sometimes I can, because I've got 2 people in just now. For the 2 classes I did, I had small group training, so it's supposed to be small groups. I had 2 people that I know really well, I know what they're capable of. They were doing strict shoulder press. I joined in 2 days in a row, did the same exercise. It was fine, because it was only 4 sets. It wasn't maximal. It shouldn't be, because we're drilling form, drilling how to keep a stable spine, how to get it up to here safely with a barbell. Now to push up and bring it back down. And also, on one of them, I had people that had a vulnerable shoulder, one vulnerable shoulder. They're not doing barbell. Can't. Got one vulnerable shoulder. It's nowhere near as strong as the other one. If we keep training that 2 arms at the same time, bilateral exercises, then I'm going to make their one shoulder can perform here, one shoulder can perform here. As they get better, if they only ever train barbell, it goes like this. Got to separate them out and see what we can do with this weak shoulder, and see if we can teach it how to be a shoulder. So like stopping and training that shoulder to be able to do mobility. Where's the weak point? Can you make that shoulder perform with a lighter weight? See if it feels alright. It should feel alright. It should feel fine, and then we do the strong arm and we can like hold it back a little bit, but not training maximally. Until we can train that shoulder to be even, I want you to be able to hold back a little bit and leave some in the tank. You can. It's still hard work. Don't get me wrong that when you turn up to the gym you don't break a sweat. It can still be hard work. Your cardio can still be hard work. You don't have to break records every single time you train. You can peak. You should peak at some point, but that peak has to be like a steady, getting more. Hit that peak, have a little deload, back down again, so that you can keep turning up. It's key. It's cool. Right, let's see. Got anyone asking anything going on here? Been on half an hour. If anyone's got any questions about training and how hard they should train, but remember the answer is always it depends. We've got to look at some specifics of what it is you want to do. If you're wanting to do weight loss, which is the main one, so you put on a couple of pounds over lockdown, you still haven't lost them yet, you feel like you want to lose a bit of weight, look at your nutrition, make it achievable, make it nice, make it so that you enjoy it, so that when you eat you look forward to it. It's not maximal. It's not like you're like, right, that is it, I'm just going to have chicken and broccoli from a Tupperware. That's my lunch, that's my dinner, and I don't have breakfast, skip it. It's about 700 calories, it's not enough. You can't live like that. You can't keep going. It's got to be that you eat normally, find your maintenance, take off 10% of your calories, maybe 20%, a push, then keep going. And make it achievable, make it so it's nice, make it so you like it, make it so that you can have a little takeaway. If you save up enough calories through the week, you could have a little takeaway for sure. And it's nice, it's not maximal, you're not all on, all in. It's kind of cool to think that you can be like that. I don't know if you know a guy called David Goggins is. He's a different kind of human being, and he's amazing. He like runs no matter what, and runs ridiculous lengths of time. His feet are all messed up, his knees are full of fluid, but he's like one of those army guys that can just flick a switch and they can just perform here all the time. And that's his deal, that's how he treats himself. And it's fine if you're David Goggins, but he's got the prerequisites to be able to do that stuff. And he likes it. So remember that you've got to enjoy what you do. When I tell people about exercise and ask them what they should, and they ask me what they should be doing, I'm going to ask what they enjoy, what they think they would enjoy, what they want to do. So I know some people who do roller derby, and they're mint, they are fun people. Those people who ride roller skates around and smash into each other on a rink, obviously they're not doing that now, but they can still train for it. That's what they enjoy. And they should absolutely do that. And they should supplement it with stuff that helps them to do that better and be able to do it for longer. And most of them need a little bit of yoga, a lot of hip work, because they're pushing the feet out to the side all the time. Hi Gina. That's cool. So, just because Gina's joined us here, and I know Gina loves indoor cycling and does a lot of that. And if you come to my indoor cycling, I'm going to ask you to go fast, and I'm going to ask you to hit what you can achieve. But it's only half an hour or 45 minutes, and there's plenty of time where it does slow down. Very rarely is it fully maximal. Once a week, like I said, you can hit maximum. You can, and you probably should be close to like spending everything you've got. If it's only for half an hour to 45 minutes, it's not really maximal. Very rarely is it actually like everything you've got, because you get time to pedal a little bit, you get a little warm up, you get a little bit of a cool down, you get some stuff. And if it's going as fast as you can, or as hard as you can, or as slow and heavy as you can, there's a bit of space for that once, twice a week, maybe. But it's not really maximal. You don't finish it. When you finish it, how long does it take you to recover? 10, 15 minutes? And you're like, oh yeah, that was a hard workout. You didn't leave your soul on the bike very often. If you go to Rob's spinning classes recently, you might leave your soul on the bike, but what are you going to do the next day? Can you turn up? If you can, well, really all that maximal. That's what I'm talking about, that you shouldn't be sore like to death. If you are, you've just overspent it a little bit. It's not the end of the world, you just need to learn from it and work out how to just take a little bit off or spread it out a bit. So if you're going into the gym and doing leg day, bicep and tricep day, shoulder day, push, chest day, back day, and you're doing 30, 40, 50 sets per body part, it sounds kind of maximal to me. Like, how much can you do? And when's the next time you're going to train that? It's going to be a long time. It's going to take a while before it comes back around again. You'd be better doing like a push-pull, or maybe even doing a full body workout day where you do some squats, you do some pull-ups, you do some chest press, then you do a little bit of arm work. It's full body, but you could do that 3 or 4 times a week. Everything gets hit. Works way better. Or even better if you can do that 24-hour rule that you do some squats in the morning at home, body weight, or holding on to something, or maybe you've got some weights at home, you do some squats, and then after work you go to the gym, and then you do a little bit of arm work, and you do a little bit of cardio, and then when you get home, when you're watching TV, train your wrists. You do some elbow cars while you're watching TV. You make your stuff work nice. You've done training all day. It's all spread out, and you don't spend everything. There you go. Everything I've got all in. I'm not sure if that's how you should be training very often. You've got to work it out. You can spread it out through the day. It's way nicer. I know that's hard if you've got kids, but it depends how old your kids are, whether you can or not. Can you kick a ball around in the garden with one of your kids and make that little bit of cardio? Can you get him to chase you around and try and keep the ball away from your little boy or a little girl? That'd be cool. Some good cardio. You keep that going. Maybe get him going goal and try really hard and let your little kid kick a ball at you. Yeah, do squats and abs daily. You shouldn't spend everything you've got. Maybe you should do some press-ups or something as well. Get some kind of weight and push it overhead. Something like that, just to make your arms work. And if your ab work is all sit-ups, you surprise yourself up. Do straight leg sit-ups all day, every day. I'm not sure you should do that. You should probably make it like some cat-cow kind of, can you articulate your spine and feel like these muscles can control what shape your spine go in. That would be better. But yeah, squats and abs every day, if you can. Just spread them out a little bit, maybe. So if you do a hard like squat to death and you've got nothing left in your legs and you can't get down the stairs, can't get up the stairs, you can do that every now and again, probably once a week, if that, and that's alright. But it's exciting to train maximally. I get it, that when you train maximally, it's like, oh wow, I'm such an athlete, I did it, I trained, and we did it to death, and then my legs were shaking, and then I was doing leg press, and my legs were shaking, and someone had to push it up for me because I couldn't get it back off the rack. But that's what you do, no pain, no gain. Well, actually, yeah, you've probably hurt yourself for a good few days and you won't be able to train again. Train smarter. Be smarter about what you do. and it's all right to get it wrong. You've got to get it wrong sometimes. You just have to. Sometimes, because it's persuasion, that you've got more than what you turned up with. Sometimes you persuade too hard and then you're too sore the next day, especially if it's something that you haven't done in a long time or it's something you've never done before. Yeah, you're going to be sore, but learn from that. It's not the end of the world. So the answer is, it depends. I'm sorry, it's really complicated, it's hard like that. Right, I'm going to go out for tea, probably going to have steak, can't wait, going to Bike and Boot in Scarborough, very nice there. I'm back again next week on Wednesday, and I'm going to be free. It's going to be FRC yoga. It's going to be fun, good mobility stuff. It's going to be smart, and more excitingly than that, because it's coming up to Halloween. There's my Halloween hand look, all spooky shadows with the skull in the background as well that Hannah did on lino print thing, not lino print, screen printing. I'm going to show you how to make your best pumpkin. Doing pumpkin carving next Saturday, 3 PM. It's going to be good. I've bought a pumpkin carving kit, so you get to. I'll do one easy one. I'm going to do one nerdy, like etchy one. Come and join in. It's going to be cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you very soon. Bye.